Hey drummers, Rob Litton here from drumsandword.com and welcome to another free full song lesson. Today I'm going to be showing you how to play the song Let's Stick Together by Bryan Ferry, drummed by Paul Thompson. And I've got all 3 pages of the PDF for you to download, every single bar, every single fill. You'll find a link to these PDF charts beneath this video, so have these printed out in front of you as we go through this together. It's going to make it a lot easier for you to understand. Also, I've currently got a 25% discount over on my website for all new online memberships up until Christmas. So if you want to take advantage of a 25% discount, then go over to the website now and you can go online, access the hundreds of, thousands of video lessons already up on the website already. And of course, I'll be adding more over the year for your subscription. This song was suggested over on my Facebook page. And so if you want to make your own song suggestions, then please go over there to do so. You'll find a link to my Facebook page beneath this video. You can then type in your song suggestions and others get to vote on them, and then the more popular songs get voted for, get chosen for future lessons. And if you want to type in song suggestions in the YouTube comments as well, then I'm always interested to hear what other drummers want me to play. I can't promise anything, but you never know in the future. So, we start off with the first bar, drums come straight in, and I've written here, note, Paul plays a lot of ghost notes. I've only included the really obvious ones and the ghosted drags for ease of reading. So this song is already a bit of a nightmare to read. It really should be sort of a beginner lesson, but this is more of intermediate, mainly because of the stuff on the page having to read it off. Pretty much every single bar, Paul is playing some sort of variation, some sort of drum fill. Some might consider it to be a little bit too busy, but actually it works, I think it works really, really well for the song. Kind of like a Keith Mooney kind of thing where every bar is a drum fill, but somehow it works. It's not overplayed, it just sounds perfect. And so some of the ghost notes that occur in the song, for example, the basic drum beat. Stuff like that where I'm sort of adding in some E's and R's on the ghost note, on the snare drum. I haven't included all of them because this is far too many. Some aren't as obvious as others. And so rather than make this even more difficult to read off the page, that's the kind of thing you can add yourself. But I have included some of the drags and some of the ghosted snare drum backbeats as well, which we'll see in the song. And then really it's up to you, sort of take what's on the page and decide what you want to play. I mean, if you ask Paul to play this song again, he wouldn't play exactly as written. Of course he wouldn't. There's too many variations. It's sort of all improvised. There are certain ideas that do get repeated, but it's really sort of an improvisational piece. So if you're finding it, reading it note for note from start to finish, way too difficult, then don't give yourself too much of a hard time. It is difficult to read it note for note without making any sort of mistakes. Take off the parts you like and feel free to sort of add them into your own playing and improvise in your own way. So the first bar, we got our main drum beat for the song, and this is really drumming 101. This is, if you're a complete beginner, you can add in the drum fills on top as you get more comfortable, but this will get you through the entire song. We're playing bass drum on all 4 beats of the bar, snare drum on beats 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and da 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 da. There's tempo. So that's our basic drum beat. It starts with that first bar with the crash cymbal. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second bar, first improvisational piece. We get the open hi-hat on beat 4 and the under 4. Now sometimes he just opens it on beat 4 only, and then other times he opens it on beat 4 and plays the under 4 as well. You can choose to play either way. You'll see there's multiple occasions where both occur in the song. You can choose whatever you feel more comfortable with. But the first time you hear it is this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 open hi-hats, 4 and into the third bar where it closes with the crash cymbal. Basic drum beat for bar 3, and then bar 4. We got our first example of this double backbeat effect: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now he doesn't always play the snare drum notes on the ands of 1 and the and of 3 the same volume. Sometimes he plays with sort of a little bit quieter than the main backbeat, and then other times he sort of plays them all the same volume. And so it was quite difficult for me to decide, is that a slightly quieter one than the main backbeat, or was it meant to be played both the same volume? So I've done my best to sort of, as we see on the second line, the first bar, we get our first sort of ghosted snare drum before beat 2. but sometimes it's more bat bat rather than da da, and this is a bat bat time. So on top of that, we've also got the open hi-hat on beat 4, and 4 and 4 and 1. Now I've included that ghosted drag. Sometimes I'm sure I've missed out a few of them in the song accidentally, but the ones that really sort of became obvious to me I've included, because I think the drag's kind of cool to add in there as well as the sort of ghost notes in between the hi-hats. So he plays 4 and a 1, and I'll close the hi-hat for that bit. 4 and a 1. It's a simple little drag there. If you can't play a drag, you can play it as a single ghost note. If you can't play ghost notes, leave it out completely. No one's going to miss it, but it certainly adds to the feel. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1. 3 and 4 and a 1. Then on to second bar line. Second line, bar 1. We get 1 and 2. So there's an example, as I said a second ago, of the and 2. It's not and 2, it's and 2. If you wanted to play and 2, that's fine. Or you could just play, or you could just leave out the ghost note. But that's what I'm hearing on the recording. 1 and 2 and 3. And then second half, it's more both the same volume. 3 and 4 and then we get this distinctive drum fill that occurs throughout the song. Really cool idea, leading us into the next bar, sort of extending the drum fill over beat 1 of the next bar, which is a cool idea. We get and a 1E and, just a line of notes there, and a 1E and, but of course the bass drum's still pumping underneath. And a 1E and a 1E and. So bar 1 into bar 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1E and. And we sort of naturally get the there a little bit quieter than the 1E, a 1E and. I've written them all the same volume. But if I'm honest, it's more sort of a, where sort of you're sort of leading up the volume into beat 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, a 1E and, a 1E and. But you could play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, a 1E and. That'll work just as well. Don't worry about too much about the dynamics for that part. The bar continues into bar 2, 1E and, back up to the hi-hat for the and of 1, 1E and 2 and 3 and 4, quieted ghosted snare drum on the and of 3, open hi-hat on beat 4, and here's our first example of where I didn't hear the hi-hat being played on the and of 4. He just keeps it open, 4 and a 1, and we come in with that snare drum, single snare drum note at the end of the bar into bar 3 where the hi-hat closes. Now of course you could play 4 and also sometimes it's hard to tell whether he's playing a single note or he's playing and a 1. If you don't like the and 4 and a 1 variation, you could play and 4 and a 1 if you wanted to instead, if you find that more comfortable to play. We'll see an example of that at the end of the bar, end of the line here. But anyway, that bar again, 1E and 2 and 3 and 4, a 1. Then we go into bar 3 where the bar ends with 4, a 1E and, 4, a 1E and. Same ideas we had before. The hi-hat closes on the beat 1, a 1E and. So same idea as bar 1 into bar 2. That bar continues, 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. Our first example of the and a drum fill. And 4 and a 1. So open the hi-hat, stays open, and a 1 closes on beat 1 of the next line. Then that next line, we got a little ghost note on the a drag on the of 2 I hear. 1 and 2 and a 3. A 3, really quiet, really subtle. 3 and 4, open hi-hat for the whole of beat 4. Bar 3, bar 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, a 1, gone over that already. Bar 3, standard stuff. And then bar 4, at the end of each of these verses, we get this cool bell ride cymbal pattern. He doesn't always play it the same way. This first time, he plays 1 and 2 and 3 and, so 1 and 2 and 3 and. Underneath that we're playing 1 and 2 and 3 and. So starting on beat 2, 2 and 3 and the snare drum follows all of those bells. The bass drum is still going 1, 2, 3. And then the bar ends with 4E and a 1. So we get 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4E and a 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4E and a 1. So already we got a load of stuff going on in just those 3 lines. I won't do this for every section, otherwise this lesson will take too long, but I'll play those first 3 lines for you slowly, then I'll play it up to speed. So here we go, try and get all in one go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. A 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. A 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. A 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. A 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And a 1. So before I put that section up to speed, let's go through verse 1 because I want to play both the intro and verse 1 together for you. So we're going to skip over the obvious bars now, but I think the first time we see this, bar 1, is just the open hi-hat on the and beat 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. Bar 2 has the drag, 3 and 4, fully open. Then bar 4, 1 and 2 and 3. So 2 and 3, both those 3 hi-hats are open. 2 and 3. It then closes with the snare drum, and 4 and a 1. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. You can close the hi-hat on beat 4 instead if you wanted to. I've written it as closing on the and of 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. Right, 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 left. You could use any sticking you like, but the right, left at the end is what I recommend. So you come out with a crash cymbal on beat 1 with the right hand. Next line, bar 2. It's very subtle, but I think he plays 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. I think he plays 3 snare drums in a row there, and 4 ands. And then, as I said, I'm going to skip over the bars I think we've done already, or the simpler bars. Let's go straight to bar 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1 and 4 and a. Then, third line, we get 4 and 1 at the end of that first bar. Bar 2, 4, a 1. And then the last bar is 1 and 2 and 3. We don't play the and a 3 afterwards like we had before. Instead, we wait from beat 3. 3, a 4E and 1. A 4E and 1. And you could play it with the bass drum on the and a 4 if you wanted to. But Paul doesn't. He just plays the crash on its own. 1 and 2 and 3. A 4E and 1. And 1. Beat 1 of the next bar there. 1 and 2 and 3. And 1. Really cool idea. So, before we go on, let me play for you the whole of the intro and the whole of verse 1 up to speed without me counting over the top so you can hear just the drums. Here we go. So verse 2, we're gonna go straight to bar 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Sorry, just and 4 and a 1. Bar 3 there is 1 and 2, a 3 and 4. And then bar 4 is our first example of this, where we get 1 and 2 and then 3E and a 4 and a. I've written those E and as ghost notes, but really it's sort of an increase in volume. We're playing 3E and a 4 and a 1. It's quite subtle, it's a little bit of dynamics there. 1 and 2 and 3E and a 4 and a 1. That was a bit too loud, but it doesn't matter if you played that accidentally. There you go, that's what it sounds like. And I'll play an example of that up to speed in the next section, because that idea gets repeated a few times. Next line, we're going to skip over some of these bars. Notice bar 2 has the and 2, so out of nowhere. Just previously with the and 4, you then got and 2 in the second bar. 4 and for the end of that bar. So bar 4 and 4 and the 1. The third line, we're starting to see a lot of repeats going on now, sections we've covered already. Bar 3 is 1 and 2, and then 4 and 1. And that last bar, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I don't hear a snare drum on beat 2. It's just a bass drum. I could be wrong, I might have missed it, but I think he plays 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3, I missed it again, 3 ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, a 1. It's the a 1 at the end. It could be and a 1, I think it's just a 1 though. So again, you can see that bell section changes every time. You could choose one. I like the one right at the beginning of the song. So if you really want to stick with one, that's probably the best one. I think that gives the song the most power. Onto page 2, the first sax solo. And bars 1 and 2, very similar to what we've had already. 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1 the and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. Bar 3, this is a nice new idea that gets repeated later in the song as well. We get 1 and 2 and, just the bass drum on its own, 1 and 2 and, then he repeats it on beat 3, but with the snare drum, 3 ands, but then for beat 4, 4 E ands. So we get 4 E and at the end. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E ands. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E and 1. Next line, standard stuff. Notice no open hi-hat on bar 2 for a change. Bar 4, we get 1, 2, 3 and 4, a 1. And then line 3, we get this open hi-hat that gets repeated in the next sax solo. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And 4 and 1. Nice idea that. And then bars 3 into 4, we get 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, a 4 E and a 1. So 1 and 2 and 3, a 4 E and a 1. And the snare drum I do here on beat 2. 1 and 2 and 3, a 4 E and a 1. A 4 E and a 1. Let's go on to verse 3, the first line, because we've got that example at the end. So bar 2, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and a 1. Bar 3, bit different this time, we get and 4 into an open hi-hat. And 4 and 1, where it closes, 1 and 2. And then we get that idea again, 3 and a 4 and a 1. So let me just play for you the whole of the sax solo and that first line of verse 3, so we can hear what all those sections sound like up to speed, played correctly. So back to verse 3, line 2. We're going to skip that line, line 3. Let's go straight to bar 4, which is 1 and 2 and 3 ands. And then this is the tricky bit. He plays 4 E and because you can hear the snare and the bell being played at the same time. So we must be playing left, left. Now, if you find this a bit too tricky because you're playing a double left, left, right, left crash, you could just play 4 E-ander. No one's going to miss that extra bell, but it's on the recording, so I thought I'd include it. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E-ander 1. So bars 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 E-ander 1. I had the hi-hat close a little bit too early there, but you probably didn't notice unless you're reading along. So then sax solo 2, bars 1 and 2, same ideas as before. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 E and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. So it's almost identical to sax solo 1 in a way, the first line. Bar 3, the open hi-hat's on beat 4 instead of the and of 4, that's the difference there. But then bar 4 is the same as before. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 the ands. Exactly the same. Line 2, again no open hi-hat in bar 2, so keep copying the same as sax solo 1. And then bar 4, 1 and 2 and 3, I had a little ghost drag there. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. Next line we have the and 4 and 1 idea being used again. And then bar 4, open hi-hats on beat 4, and we get, is it identical? It is identical to the previous sax solo. So he is repeating ideas here. 1 and 2 and 3, a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3, 4 E and a 1. Same as we had before. So let's go on to the last page, verse 4, our last verse. And bar 2 has a little drag I hear. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1, going into just the closed hi-hat, no open hi-hats there. And then bar 4 has this cool idea. 1 and 2 and, before we played 3 and 4 the and, now it's 3 and 4 and a 1. Right, left, right, 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 left, crash. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and a 1. I love that drum fill. Really good fun to play. Don't know why, just sounds great with the song. On it goes, line 2, nothing we haven't covered there. Line 3, we just get bar 3 into bar 4, how the song ends. Excuse me, I've got hiccups now. We get 1 and 2 and, I think I'm hearing 2 bass drums, 2 and, with the bass snare drum on beat 2 as well. 1 and 2 and, open hi-hat starts on beat 2. 2 and, then I think he plays 3 and without any bass drums. 3 and, then beat 4 with the snare drum and bass drum. 4, opens for the whole of the beat, or stays open for the whole of the beat, then closes on the next bar. 1 with bass drum and a flam on the snare drum and the bass drum. 1 and then it ends with 2 and. So 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Song ends with 2 crashes on 2 and. So that last line slowly. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and jazz hands. And that's where the song ends. So before we finish, let me play for you the whole of verse 4 up to speed. So I hope you had fun. That was a lot of fun for me, one of my favourite songs. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me, rob@drumstheword.com. Don't forget to download all 3 pages of the PDF for free from my website. And then while you're there, you might want to consider signing up to become an online member. And what I currently offer for $97, although at the moment, specifically, the end of this December 2020, I'm giving a 25% discount. So actually it's like $73. For a full year's online subscription to every single full video song lesson I've ever recorded and transcribed. And that's coming up to almost 500 full song lessons, where just like this, I teach you the song from start to finish, every single bar. You get the fully transcribed PDF drum chart. And like I said, I've got almost 500 full video song lessons up on the website already. As a thank you for signing up, I give you access to hundreds more little videos teaching you many, many famous drum beats, fills, and even drum solos. I'll give you 3 ebooks I've written over the years containing hundreds more famous drum beats, fills and solos. And then over the year of your subscription, you also gain instant online access to all the new material that I upload for my members, and I record new lessons every week unless I'm ill or on holiday. So you've got a lot of cool stuff to look forward to over the year of your subscription. But any questions about any of that, then feel free to email me, rob@drumstheword.com. And until our next drum lesson together, toodle pip and happy drumming to you.